Yeah, it's like that. It's so crazy to think that that would be considered not masculine, because again, I see it all the time. I see it watching UFC. I love martial arts. I love combat sports. And it's all driven by heart. The
Mm.
physicality without the heart,
It's
it's
heart
nothing.
and soul and might.
Yeah, everything is going and pumping. And I ask the question to myself, why can't I do that for the Lord? Am I embarrassed? Does it conjure
Like
up?
like at church or
Yeah, church.
mm,
I can do it at home, but when it
mm,
comes to church, you're always thinking about this person's looking at me. Does it conjure up things from my past that might have been humiliating to me?
mm,
Those are all serious issues for men because
mm-hmm.
the one thing we value is respect. That's the way God created us to be. But at the same time, the enemy uses the lack of respect to keep us from expressing ourselves to God. And
Mm.
so, going back to what we were talking about, I truly believe we need to teach men that it's okay to be men in church. There are some men that they're introverts and they're mighty oaks that never move. Okay,
Yeah,
but
everyone is different.
stand there and sing. Stand there and express yourself to the best you can.
Mm,
But for the most part, when I go with men to sporting events, concerts, they have
mm-hmm.
no problem
Mm-hmm.
expressing their heart.
I mean, don't you think part of it is that at church there's nothing in front of you? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
There's like, doesn't it seem weird to kind of make that
it
transition?
is weird because there's not a human being doing something in front of you.
Yeah.
But that's our challenge as a Christian, to actually worship God. We're Protestant Christians, we're charismatic
Mm-hmm.
Christians, so we don't have a statue of Jesus in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
We worship in spirit and in truth. And so when when we're worshiping, we have to have a connection outside of the physical world
That's
to the
true.
Lord
Because like we always know that God is doing something all the time.
all the time.
And he inhabits the praises of his people. And so when we praise him, he is there.
Yes.
And so it really does take it's kind of a stretch though, I think, for people to kind of start seeing with their spiritual eyes during,
Yeah.
well, at all.
Yeah.
At a church.
Yeah. And that's the danger of being in a physical world that's the danger of being in a world where we believe everything that's real is just physical. And so we don't get the intimacy. And that's why I
Mm-hmm.
think intimacy is the starting point where we need to be at with God. And then the expression into the physical world becomes reality.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the problem as well, because as men, we are taught intimacies for women.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not true. I've seen many men who have best friends, and it's not romantic or sexual or anything like that, but just true love for a brother,
Mm-hmm.
true love for a friend. And it's very emotional and it's very
Mm-hmm.
expressive.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it comes to Jesus, we can't do that.
Right.
Hmm.
Hmm.
There's a lot of work to be done.
Yeah.
If you guys want to come to our church, I will teach you how to worship
Yeah.
in spirit and in truth as a man. Like I love that stuff. Uh, it's very difficult. And so I think what we need to do is really focus on listening to men.
Mm.
And that's another challenge because men don't like to feel as if they're lacking anything.